I want to call to order our Senior Advisory Council meeting for June 23rd, 2025. First thing on the agenda is introduction of new members. We have no new members. And so, but I was in Glide this last week. I asked the people up there if anybody would like to maybe come to one of our meetings. But I even offered to give them my East County position if they would. So, okay, next on the agenda here is update from area members. Jane, you want to start?
Well, my biggest update is we need help bad
What type of help do you need
in the
there?
kitchen.
Is what-
Volunteers
Oh,
in the kitchen, drivers, everything. It's down to me and Amber and 3 drivers. We got 1 driver out on surgery and Suzanne is on a walker, so she can't be in the kitchen on a walker. So we really need volunteers bad.
And have you had the brochures asking for help? Yeah. We can't get any volunteers. Don't know what we're gonna do about that part, because I asked for volunteers also. Vicky, do you have any updates?
Not really, I have had about the same response for volunteers, none.
Like I say, I tried to talk to my people up there also, and nobody seemed to be interested in. Well, we only get about 12 people that come to lunch and fly. Alrighty. Okay, update from DCSS. Chris?
Hi, I'm here to talk about a little bit about my experience, case management, what it looks like for senior services, and the new OPIM program. My name is Chris. I was a program director for the SAFE project in Coos County, where we handle DV, SA, and financial abuse, and working on policies with courts, with hospitals, kind of making them more victim-centered. That's really what drew me to this position, was just how the triangulation of services worked, working closely with our partners, the states, and really trying to get the consumers the best service possible. Case management is taken several different turns here, and I think like with the OPIM program switching over to the state, handling that initial assessment has really helped us out, kind of developing that partnership further, because they do that initial assessment, they'll let us know if they qualify, and that's when we begin case management. So even if they aren't aware of OPIM, there might be some other services that they might qualify for, which is extremely helpful. So they'll go through the state, they'll talk to a caseworker, they might not be interested in long-term care, so we'll get a warm handoff for our services. Somebody might come in for Meals on Wheels, not qualify, but we'll sit down, talk with them, maybe congregate, maybe food stamps, maybe other food pantries. So just kind of developing that options counseling, that part has been really ideal and helpful to everybody. Yeah, OPIM has been great. I think we can all say that. Not many people are aware of it, and the fact that we got 50 people onboarded in just a few months is kind of amazing for everybody involved. And I think we'll probably hit 100 by the end of the year.
Good.
Yeah. It being a new program, I think when people come in, they might not be aware of it, and that's kind of when the case management kicks in. So we'll sit, we'll talk with them, and see what they might be interested in, and then we'll just go from there. And yeah, that's kind of it for the OPIM program.
Thank you, Chris. Tom, you're up next.
Oh, okay. You know, I don't have a lot of updates. I think it's been a little while since I was here. I unfortunately missed the last meeting. Our DHS building at Harvard, we have a shared lobby now with our friends from Self Sufficiency and OEP, which does all the eligibility. So it's a different interest going in, same services, however, it's kind of a bigger lobby and you know, we wanna make sure that when somebody comes in, whether they're looking for services from APD or services from a self-sufficiency program, that they are served appropriately. So we route those folks the right way, it's just a better use of the building. I'll just kinda, you know, the only thing I really was gonna talk about, and Chris talked about it, is OPIM, you know, that's a new program. Folks are getting onto that system. What that OPIM does for folks and kind of what Chris alluded to is when we get a referral for somebody at APD, whether even if they just come in saying they want OPIM, then we kind of focus on that, but generally that opens them up to a broad bunch of services, and they're screened for everything to see, hey, well, does OPIM fit where they need, or do they need traditional long-term care services? And the main differences on those is that there's a service priority level, is what they call it. And, you know, what their care needs reflect what they really need. So we wanna make sure we get people paired with the right program, to get the help that they need. Some of that, you know, there's some variances on each program about, you know, financial requirements, and estates administration is a big thing. Yeah, it's been pretty amazing. I agree with Chris, it's been pretty amazing in the last few months that we put 50 people on. I know there's people actively in that process right now. The process of going through the intake sometimes can take up to 45 days. So that can be, you know, troublesome. There's a lot of back and forth sometimes if something's needed from the consumer to meet their financial eligibility of that program, or any program. So but yeah, it's been a pretty amazing feat. So the one thing I would say, and Jeannie and I had been continuing to communicate with this, if you are hearing folks out at the sites having trouble getting in contact with the office, we're continuing to try to improve that phone system. We are going to continue to have the option 8 for folks to get through. However, if you hear of things or people aren't getting answers, or you have a question that somebody that you guys are seeing is asking, feel free to reach out to me or reach out to Jeannie, and Jeannie can reach out to me, however you guys wanna do it. And we'll get their answers, cause there's a lot of Medicaid and can be very, very intricate, we'll say. And so if they have questions that they're not getting answered, or they can't get through to somebody, just let me know, and we'll try to take that barrier away.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Jeannie, you're up next. Are we getting any advertisement in the paper or what have you for new members?
Yes, these posters are available for people. We've made some sets for you all as well. And also in this is volunteer recruitments. We met with the Douglas County our media person, Tamra, and she helped us get these posters and flyers together. She also put it out on Facebook and some other things. So we're recruiting right now, actively recruiting. So let me give you these.
We do also have behind them, Jeannie, the Facebook posting. Sean was nice enough to set that up, so if they wanted to watch that for a minute. It's a quick progress. It doesn't take much and there's no sound to it, but
I'll take some of these up to the, put on bulletin boards in the grocery stores and stuff up there at Glide, where I'm at.
right,
So maybe
that's
maybe
why I
you can get out to
figured
the
it's
community up there.
yeah. And I put some out in the
Post office
hallways
or
here
something,
too,
Sure.
so.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Like I said, I told my folks at Glide that if anybody wanted to take over that area, I'd be more than happy to take another area.
Right. Did you want to play?
So what all you got for us, Jeannie?
We're gonna first off play this video real quick so you can turn around
So if you
and take a
wanna
look and
watch
see
up there
what's
on the
gonna be posted. Yeah, or this one as well.
And this is what Tamara came up with, that's showing on the county website now for getting out there. Kind of the same thing with your flyers that you have. As you notice, there's ones for each one of the specific sites and what we were looking for each site. So the ones that I printed off for you are kind of the generic, just kind of volunteers needed, and this is who to contact. This one is actually specific to each site.
Now, is it possible to get this on our personal webpage and then share it?
You can, it's on the county website, yes. I mean, I have your guys' emails, I could definitely send you the link, you know, as well.
And it's
So-
on Facebook too, I believe.
Yeah,
So
on the
if you-
county Facebook site,
If you have Facebook, you can go on and Google for it. Just Douglas County, Roseburg, Oregon, and that will pull up, Facebook will pull up.
Okay, and
You
then,
can get it off of there.
maybe share it on my site.
Yes.
Or our sites, and then where others can see. So, yeah, somehow we have to get the word out that we need help here and we need volunteers.
Yes. We're gonna try to plan to do a radio interview probably again in the near future. A radio interview with some of the local radios. And we were able to get some new volunteers the last time that we did do that, seemed to have been effective. So we will do that again.
Good.
So one of the other things that I wanted to share today to make sure that it was as clear, and that's why I apologize, I was late to this meeting, I was on the phone with this the state. To clarify that OPIM Classic is not going away, or the standard OPI that we've done for years, it was going to go away. It is not at this point. For the next funded biennium, we still plan on having it. With that being said, there's a very, very limited amount of dollars throughout the state of Oregon to provide that service. There's only going to be about approximately $5 million for the whole state for this classical program. And that is not with the mix of Medicaid, which is much more flexible, adds more hours, as Tom and Chris could probably explain that. But it is just the very basics. So we're looking at very minimal, probably looking at criteria where folks would not be eligible for the OPIM. And we're not going to open it up to new clients becoming a part of that either. It will be existing clients that don't fit for this new program. So as time goes on, we'll be developing the criteria for that, just as we look at how much our funding's gonna be for that year, those two years, the biennium. Then that'll determine the criteria of how we're gonna decide to do that. It's gonna be difficult, but at least we do have some funds available left for that. So that was just something that I wanted to let people know in case they were unsure that if OPIM was going to be here. It is, regular OPIM OPI is going to be here. And then the expansion of OPIM is to continue into the next biennium as well. So that's good news for folks that are dependent upon both of those programs. The other thing that I have is I have a draft of the area plan. I'm gonna leave it with you, and then we'll get some more copies and we'll get them out for everyone else. And you can review it, see what our priorities are for this year. Go through, if you have suggestions, let me know. It's really related to the plan that the state has, as well as a reflection of our fundings and our funding revenues, what they would be, to what types of services we would be able to provide. But we're always open for suggestions and things to think about and consider for that. We did a survey process with surveys throughout Douglas County. Many of the Meals on Wheels programs and then also the congregate meal programs to get information, queried our staff that work with individuals. And so if you have any other suggestions, we wanna make sure that we add those too. So I will leave that for today. Another thing that we have going on is we are planning the volunteer luncheon. It's going to be a picnic. We are very fortunate, it's September 17th. And we're very fortunate, we're going to be able to have it out at Wildlife Safari for the volunteers. So also we're fortunate that SMB Foods is going to provide the luncheon free of charge. So SMB Foods is our contractor. They will be providing the barbecue dinner or lunch for that day. So you'll all be receiving invitations to that. By September, it should be warm, but maybe not so hot that people can't enjoy themselves. There's gonna be some perks in it, cause it is the wildlife safari, so there'll be some animals to view. It will be at one of the theater building that they used to have there, and it's been remodeled into a very nice place to have this. So there'll be kind of indoor-outdoor area for everyone to be. And then I believe there's a discount for 50% off if you wish to go through the park. It's just kind of some nice perks for the volunteers. And hopefully we have a really good turnout.
How will they do the meal for that day?
So it'll be on a Wednesday,
What day
on
did
the
you say it was?
17th of September.
What day?
17th of September.
Okay, all right, okay.
It's Wednesday, the 17th. And we will, S&B will be providing a barbecue. So it'll just have the basic barbecue foods, and it's a good celebration for thanking the volunteers that are there, that are tireless. As Jean can contest to that, day in, day out, serving those meals, that's really important. And you all, as part of your service on the Senior Services Advisory Council. So we hope you all can come to that as well. And there'll just be basically probably some music, a little bit of music, and there'll be time to come have camaraderie, enjoy some food, and see all of the interesting animals that are in that park. So that'll be fun. There's lots of them you can see in the inner park or the inside park area. So that'll be kind of fun for people. So we're probably gonna do an RSVP, because that's typically what we would do. So if you plan to go, you could RSVP us, you can let Kelly know, so she'll keep the count so we can let S&B know how many meals that they need to provide. The county commissioners will be there, we usually invite them, they love to come and help serve, so and thank all the volunteers. So our programs would not function if we did not have volunteers.
Yes, right.
And so
Need more.
it's very, very important, and that's why we decided to do something even a little different for everyone. And we found some generous donors by our contractor being willing to provide that for free, which is fabulous. It helped us be able to get into the venue that we chose, so that's really great. Some of the other things that are happening, we are busy just going out doing some site visits in the sites at some of the dining sites, so you may see me here and there. And working with APD on OPIM, that's been a lift for everyone, and everyone has been so wonderful about that. working together to get that rolled out. If you've ever known about new programs, there's always hidden things and challenges and some hills to jump over to get it on the right track. And we definitely have had that. But ultimately what it's going to do is it's going to be better for the clients and give them much more flexibility. And I think it's a testament of working together collaboratively for older adults in our community, the APD office, as well as Douglas County Senior Services. We do a lot of working together anyway, so this isn't new. It's just a different venue and a different topic of project that we're working on together. So we really thank everyone for that. Thank Tom and his staff for their dedication as well. And then Chris is our new OPI case manager. So he is the one that we have now. So he's doing a fantastic job. We're really glad he's here and willing to help move these programs forward on our side, in our department. So that is all I have at this point. We'll still be looking for recruitment. If there are things as you go out to the dining sites, there are things that you feel that are things that we could do to improve it, let me know. You can either email me, give me a call, come in, we'll have a cup of coffee and talk about it. But things that you see out there that would be beneficial or helpful to older adults in the communities. Things that as a volunteer you think are important for us to know as we move forward in our training. We are dedicated to look at the next biennium, doing much more trainings out in the field and support for volunteers out in the field. And these would just be reviewing things that are just part of good business and health and safety and those types of things. We have had the inspections, we have those on a quarterly basis on the health inspections. Those have been coming out fine, all within compliance. So we haven't had anything that was of seriousness, but there's always room for improvement. There's always room to do better. There's always room for us to recognize maybe volunteers more than just the luncheon once a year. What would be beneficial, because we really feel that it's important. Volunteers are a big part of the program. Sure. And so knowing what people would like and want is really important too. I mean, that's a lot of time, hours, hard work, sweat, tears, miles on your car, the whole shebang. So we wanna be here and present and be listening to what the needs are. So I thank you for all of your work.
Yes, one question
Mhm.
on this. How long does it take to get the volunteers signed up? I mean, have you?
Actually, it's relatively quick now because of some changes at the state level.
That's what I wondered.
It was really arduous, it was long, it took a long time, but now we can get them, in a couple of weeks, depending on what type of job that they want. If there's no complications like fingerprints, or if randomly they have fingerprints that they have to do. Depending upon the individual, depending upon if they lived out of state, those types of things. But anybody that's local, it can be like couple weeks to get them on board.
I just had one, I got the preliminary hire that day that I submitted the application. And then the next day, or 2 days later, I could.
The reason I was asking, I've had people change their minds sometimes if they have to wait too long for some reason. They find something else to do, basically.
Do they still have to give fingerprints? That's a big question for people, and I don't know why.
No, they don't have to necessarily, it depends on the state and what their requirements, they do a random. So many of them, they ask for a fingerprints, I believe.
I
And
found
if
that
they're-
if they've lived outside of the state within the last 5 years,
Okay,
most of the time there's fingerprints involved.
Yeah, generally the fingerprinting is happening if they live out of state. They're, as Jeannie said, there's random fingerprints. They've started that more, but it has been more streamlined, so. But if they've lived out of state in 5 years, last 5 years, you can guarantee that they're gonna ask for fingerprints.
oh, okay.
Okay, I was just wondering, cause
And here locally, our sheriff's department, we can send folks over there and they'll do it for free for us. But
Through
they'll
the
ask-
senior services, yeah, they
it's just,
waived the fee, so that was nice.
it's just a kind of a, with older seniors, they do not want, for some reason, to have their fingerprints.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a issue with them, so I was wondering, how long it was taking.
That's how long it is. If you'd like, you can take a break for a few minutes and then the next person comes in.
Okay, do we wanna tell the gentleman next door, or?
Yeah, we can let him know and then he can.
Volunteered at the cancer center, I had to be there.
And then,
I know.
So when I volunteered here, I was already a volunteer, so it was no big deal.
I worked.
I wanna call our meeting back to order again, for the food pantry for fish, to tell us what they have going on. Go ahead, ladies.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me here today. I'm Jen Rita. I am the Executive Director of the Fish of Roseburg. We've been part of the Douglas County community since 1971. Over the years, our work has grown from a tiny food shelf in a church closet into the largest food pantry in the county. We now serve over 900 families each month, and that number continues to grow as more households, especially older adults, face tough choices between food, medicine, rent, and transportation. And that's why I'm here today, to share how Fish is helping bridge that gap for seniors in our community and how we're doing it in ways that center dignity, convenience, and care. For many of the seniors we serve, getting to our pantry is a challenge. Some don't drive, some live on the outskirts of town where transportation is unreliable or unavailable. Others are dealing with mobility, cognitive, or health issues that make even short trips feel daunting. And for some, there's the emotional barrier, pride, independence, or the fear of being a burden. So our question became, how do we bring food to them instead of asking them to come to us? That's where DoorDash enters the picture. It surprises people when I say that the same service that brings burgers and fries is now helping us deliver fresh fruits, not really fresh fruits, I apologize, pantry staples and special dietary items. Through a partnership with Feeding Umpqua and DoorDash Project Dash, we've been able to launch a home delivery program that serves about 30 to 40 households a month, many of them seniors. The process is simple. A client is referred to us by a friend, healthcare provider, agency, or even just by simply giving us a call. We build a food box that's tailored to their household size and dietary needs, and DoorDash driver picks it up and delivers it right to their door. No tech barriers, no fees, no stress. Now, not every senior who needs food needs it delivered. Some are still fairly independent, but they rely on a caseworker, home health nurse, or housing advocate to help navigate systems. That's why we created something called community agency shopping hours. During times when the pantry is closed to the general public, we open up just for agency partners to shop on behalf of their clients. That might be someone from Peace at Home, the VA, or a local church who is shopping for 3 or 4 seniors at a time. These appointments give caregivers and caseworkers the chance to pick items that actually make sense. Soft foods for someone with swallowing difficulty, low sodium for someone managing heart disease, or foods that don't require cooking if there's no working kitchen. It's thoughtful, efficient, and respectful of everyone's time, and it means that food our seniors receive is food they can actually use and enjoy. As we age, our nutritional needs change, and so should the support system around us. At Fish, we're working hard to go beyond just what's available. We've developed dedicated areas in our pantry for diabetic-friendly and low-sodium items, vegan and kosher-friendly foods, single-serving items, easy to open and easy to prepare options. We've heard from countless clients and their caregivers about how much this matters because a can of food isn't helpful if you can't open it. A 10-pound bag of rice isn't helpful if you don't have the strength to carry it to the stovetop or to cook it. It's not just about what we have on the shelves, it's about how we listen and adjust to what our seniors truly need. None of this works though in isolation. We rely on volunteers, donors, and partner organizations across Douglas County to keep these programs going. That includes many of the groups and individuals represented here today. We don't receive federal or state assistance dollars. Everything we do is powered by local support, grants, fundraisers, and the generosity of the community. That's why partnerships with boards like yours are so important. Whether it's referring a senior for our DoorDash program, helping us identify clients who need extra nutritional support, or simply spreading the word that our pantry exists. We can't do this alone. As we look ahead, we know the numbers of seniors in Douglas County is growing. And with that, the need for accessible, senior-friendly food programs will increase. We want to keep building programs that respect the autonomy of older adults, while also offering care, flexibility, and human connection. We want people to feel seen, supported, and never ashamed to ask for help. And yes, we want them to have apples and fresh bread and a choice. So here's my ask for today. If you know a senior who is struggling with food access, send them our way. If you work with an agency that serves older adults, ask about partnering with us for our community agency shopping. If you'd like to see the pantry firsthand, come take a tour. Because at Fish, we're not just feeding bodies, we're feeding hope, one delivery, one shelf, one story at a time. We have several programs that we have flyers for. We've got our Roseburg Food Project, which Penny is here to talk a minute about. We also have our Become a Fish First Responder program. And what that is when we lost Albertsons, we lost about 6,000 pounds of food twice a week. That's a lot of food that we lost. So this is in response to that. And what happens is agencies and small businesses or bigger businesses can sign up. They get to pick a category of food that we have in our pantry. And anytime we're running low on that item, we can give them a call. So if they sign up for peanut butter, we can call and say, hey, I need enough peanut butter to get me through a week. Can you help make that happen? And they can either go out and purchase the peanut butter, or they can send me money and I can go get the peanut butter. And then I also have a flyer here on where does the food come from, because it is like a giant web. on where the food comes from. And if Penny would like to stand up and just tell you a little bit about the Roseburg Food Project, it's where the majority of our dietary sensitive, culturally sensitive food comes from.
Now, this is basically just within the Roseburg area?
We serve the entire county.
Okay, okay,
The Roseburg Food Project, however, is just the Roseburg area.
okay. So Fish is the entire county.
Fish is the entire county. Now, the DoorDash program only works within a 10-mile radius of the pantry. But if they're working with another agency who could come shop for them, then they would fall into the community agency shop.
The other side of the picture for seniors is that besides we have some that are in need, we also have the fact that that's the time in your life when you can give back. And we have many, many senior volunteers that help out at the pantry. I'd have to say 90% of our volunteers are people who are retired and enjoy this opportunity to give back to the community. The other way that we can involve seniors is through the Roseburg Food Project. I don't know if you recognize a green bag, but it is a system of picking up donations from folks. And we sign someone up, assign a neighborhood coordinator to them, and they deliver a green bag. And then once every 2 months, that neighborhood coordinator picks it up and brings it to the pantry. And we get about 11 to 12,000 pounds of food every time we do that. So 6 times a year we get that food in. And the wonderful thing about it is it's a variety of food. So people take whatever's on their shelf that maybe their family didn't like, but that's fine, we'll find somebody that likes it. Or it's they went out and specifically selected things that were on sale and filled their green bags. Having the Roseburg Food Project has really stabilized our system. Years ago, we couldn't always pay all our bills and we had to decide which one to pay. And with the Roseburg Food Project, that has really made a difference in us. We are very much in the black and moving forward and feeling comfortable and able to do the kinds of things that Jen just talked about. So I have some cards about that. If you know some seniors or non-seniors or neighbors that would like to be involved, we can leave them with you. Do you have any questions?
No, I was just dealt with fish before.
And we do have a lot of folks that get confused between UCAN and Fish. And UCAN is our food bank that delivers food to all the kitchens and food projects, or
Food
pantries, thank you, in the county. So we work closely with them.
Very good. Well, thank you, ladies, for coming in and sharing with us today.
Would you like some of these cards? Do you have?
Yes, please, please, yes.
And I'll leave some of these flyers for you also. Yes.
All right, ladies, on the agenda still, we have, that was the end of our speakers. Did you watch the video of our last meeting? Because we didn't have any minutes from last month.
No, we,
And Angie sent out a notice that you could pull up and see the video. So
I was here.
I guess we'll just approve the minutes as they were. So, all right, Angie, okay? Anything else?
No, I think that's about it. I plan to move forward and make sure that you guys have minutes to have the next meeting.
Very good, thank you.
That is
Thank
my
you.
job.
All right, so I call this meeting adjourned, and we will meet again September 15th. It's on a Monday again,
September the 8th or the 15th?
September 15th. It's our next
On
meeting.
the third Wednesday instead of
No,
the
no,
second?
no, it's a Monday, it's on a
Or
Monday now.
On the third Monday instead of the
So
second?
they got bounced to the third Mondays now because of the time period between the meetings and the calendar and where this ended up, so.
To the third Wednesday.
Yeah, did you get a
Yes.
calendar?
Mondays.
Yes, I
Oh,
did.
okay, yeah.
She did get it.
And then on the 17th of that, of September, will be our get-together out at Wildlife Safari.
Life Safari. Well, then our next meeting will be the 15th of December too.
Yeah,
Just
our,
kind of
our
reach
meeting
out
will
to
be
you.
the 15th of September.
September, yeah.
Email it however you want to do it.
All right, I call this meeting adjourned.
Okay.